If you've ever wanted to create and sell a profitable online course but had no idea as to the steps or even where to start, then this is the episode for you. This is the W2 Prison Break Show, the podcast to help you launch your first online business using the skills and knowledge from your 9 to 5 job so that you don't have to miss your kids grow up. I'm your online business coach, Brian O'Neill, and I spent 25 years in corporate America, stuck in a job that I didn't like, missing my young son grow up. I was able to break out, and this podcast, I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing. So you want to break into the world of online courses, selling your knowledge. You all have stuff that you can teach people. You all have skills, you all have abilities, you all have knowledge. I'm going to walk you through exactly how you would go about creating an online course based on your skills and based on your knowledge. Like you have something to teach, you have something to offer. So let's break down the step. A couple of things that I want to help you with here. A lot of you who are listening to the show might be driving in your car, so you really can't take notes. It's like, oh, I can't write all this stuff down. Well, here's a quick hack that I'm going to give you that's going to help you put all the steps together. Number one, all of these episodes are posted on YouTube. So when you're able, go to the YouTube channel and download the transcript, okay? And use ChatGPT to summarize the episode. And you can even ask it, like, hey, what were the steps that Brian was talking about to launch the course? Summarize it, give the main action items, go into the YouTube video and copy the transcript and paste it into ChatGPT. You need the paid version to do this. I do this with a lot of stuff, guys. So use that for all of my YouTube videos or any YouTube video that you find. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's get into the steps here. Number one is you need an idea. You need something to teach. If you don't have an idea for a business or for a course that you could teach, then I'm going to direct you to my resource, which is the ChatGPT Business Blueprint. It's a free download. It's in the show notes. Everything that I'm talking about here is going to be in the show notes in terms of the resources to help you. Download that. That will help you come up with some ideas to teach people. All right. But let's just say, for the sake of this, that you have an idea that you want to teach somebody. I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to do this. And I'm going to reference back to my online course, the Parentpreneur Profit Plan, and tell you exactly how I put the course together. Now, as far as putting this all together, I just want to set a realistic timeline with you. Number one, this is going to take you months to do. You can't put a course together that you're going to charge $500, $1,000, $2,000 for or more in a week. Okay. You got to put some effort and time into this. And again, I'm going to walk you through this. So, but if you start now, you're going to be way ahead. So don't think, oh, I don't have 3 months. I don't want to put 3 months of work. No, this is what's required to put something together. If you want to leave your job, okay, and build an online business and create this passive income, money in your sleep, getting paid while you're in bed, which can happen with these courses. It does happen. Then this is the work that you need to put into it. Okay, so you have your idea, you know what you're teaching, you have the topic. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put an outline together. You can use ChatGPT to help you with this. My blueprint is going to help you with the idea. Now you can simply just put the outline together and you can tell it, hey, I want to teach a course about this, about sales, about helping people quit their job, about helping people start a business. Give me a potential outline for the course. Simple as that. Now you have an idea in your head, but this is going to help you brainstorm the outline and then do your own outline. Okay. And the easiest way to do this is to look at what is the result that you're trying to help somebody achieve. Okay. These courses, these coaching programs, it's all about solving problems. What are people struggling with? And you always want to think about the number one problem. The clients that I work with that want to start online businesses, they have many problems. And I solve that in coaching. I solve that with my course. I solve that with my mastermind. But I always look at what is the number one thing that they're struggling with? What's keeping them up at night? And that's what you need to look at. Like for me, for my client, for the people who listen to this show, and this has come from a lot of research and a lot of Q&A, the number one thing is they don't know what business to start. People don't know what business to start. That blocks them. Now, there's other things in there too, but this is the number one block. So I want you to focus on what the number one problem is, and you're going to research this. You're not just going to guess. Now, it could be the number one problem that you had, But when you're outlining this, how do you get them to achieve that result, right? Like start a business, pick the online business. If you're doing health and fitness, like lose 10 pounds in 90 days, whatever the end result is, that's how you outline the course. Like, what are the steps? And usually, when you're doing these outlines, when you're setting up these courses, it is a reflection of a transformation that you personally went through. Like for me, I was in a job for 25 years that I didn't like, 17 years with the same company. I was missing my kid grow up. I was stuck. I wanted to start a business and I had no idea what business I wanted to start, let alone how to execute the whole thing. But I finally was able to get over that. And those steps, and then my transformation is okay, I quit my job. I got out of it. And I'm in this other position, this position of winning. And everything in between is what you would teach. That's what I teach in my course. That's what I teach in my coaching. So think about the same things for you. You were once in this spot where you were challenged, you had problems. What were your roadblocks? And then what was your end result? And everything in between becomes your lessons, right? Your modules and your lessons. That's what you teach. So outline the course, just write that out, draft that out. And then how long is this going to be? What are the different modules, right? And then what are the different lessons? So the lessons go in each module, if you will, right? A lot of you are familiar with that. I'm just going to assume that you know what that means. Now you have to test the idea. This is the next step. You don't want to waste 2 to 3 months of your life putting a course together that nobody wants. You have to make sure that people want this. You're onto something if you were able to have a transformation, but now you need to test this. And here's how you do that. Online forums. You can go to Reddit, Quora, you can go to social media, Facebook groups. You can ask your peers, you can ask your following. If you have any type of following on social media, ask them like, hey, this is something that I'm thinking of putting together. Is this something that you would think to be valuable? Research, look at Google, look at answerthepublic.com and see what people are searching for in this particular niche that we're talking about here. Guys, I've been researching all this stuff in my course, the Parentpreneur Profit Plan, for years. And it's all feedback from live sessions that I've done with people one-on-one, coaching them one-to-one, group format in my mastermind group, going live on social media and getting the feedback, podcasts, like just all this stuff. I didn't just make it up. It came from the people who are struggling and with the problems, and the major problems become the material in your course. Like this is what you're solving for. So think about what are the lessons that you're teaching? What are the modules? Again, it doesn't have to be super dialed in. Just put an outline together. And then what resources are you going to provide? Think things like checklists, workbooks, any resources that they would need outside of the course to solve their problem. I'll give you just a few examples. In one of my lessons, I talk about how to craft your ideal day vision and your life vision. Like step number one, it's all about mindset. Well, I give resources for that. I give an outline on how to craft the ideal day vision, and I give a framework on how to craft your life vision because this is hard for people. I have another one on time management strategies. Well, I give you tools and resources to follow so that you can do a time audit and then figure out how you're spending your time, stuff that you can drop. So think about that in your course material. Like, what am I going to provide for them? What partnerships can you establish to help people? Just to give you another idea, people who start businesses, they need LLCs. Well, I don't have an LLC business, but I have someone that I've used. So I refer them to them. Like give them everything that they could possibly need in your particular niche for your course that could help them get the best result possible because that's what matters. The results matter. That's ultimately going to become your best sales tool if you're able to give somebody a result. Okay, so we've outlined the course, we've tested the idea, we have a framework ready. Now it's time to start putting this stuff together. Now, you don't put the course together first, even though you've tested it and people are saying, yes, this is something I'd be interested in. You haven't sold it yet. So you don't want to spend a month putting this course together and then nobody buys it. You're wasting your time in that scenario. So the next thing you're going to do is just start putting the offer together and you're going to start putting the landing page together. And your offer is really similar to what is the number one problem. Like you go into the problem, like what is your course about, right? Like my offer for my course is how to launch your first online business using the skills and knowledge from your 9 to 5 job. And I give a timeline, like in 90 days. So I want you to think about what would be your number one problem and how you would word that. And writing copy for landing pages can seem pretty daunting for people. Again, use ChatGPT for that. It can give you a framework and a guide to help you do that. And by the way, all of this stuff is in my course, but I'm giving you just the framework now on how you can do this, because a lot of you are going to want to launch online courses. You just don't know what to do, or you get to this stage where you have to write sales copy and you'll freak out. And I'm telling you, it's not that challenging. I just want you to follow the steps in order here. So when you're doing your landing pages, and I use a tool there's a bunch of different websites that you can use, and there are no right or wrong answers that will help you accomplish this. But as a coach, I have a coaching business. I use a site called Kajabi. I'll leave a link in the show notes and you could check that out. They do have a 30-day free trial. I believe it's a 30-day free trial. Don't quote me on that, but you get some time to check out the platform, and you're going to be able to host your course, build landing pages, build websites. I host my podcast in there, email list, so you can send emails out of there. It's kind of an all-in-one system. I use it. That's what I'm going to refer you guys to. Check it out. But there's a lot of other platforms that you can use to get this done. And the nice thing about Kajabi and some of these other sites is they have templates available, right? Because they know that you're a coach and you're putting a course together. So they have templates, they have tutorials. Again, they can help you with all the copy, and AI is in there. Ultimately, you're going to want to write it yourself based on the feedback that you're getting, right? From your own personal journey. These are the problems, these are the roadblocks that I faced. That ultimately becomes your lessons, but that's also part of your copy too, that you put on your landing page so that it gets people's attention. Like, oh, hey, yeah, that's me too. I have that problem. This course can help me solve it. You also want to make sure that you have testimonials for your landing page. If you don't, I would start getting them. Guys, even if you work with somebody for free, which I would suggest that you do, if you help somebody solve the problem, get a testimonial from them, right? Whether it's a text or an email, or they DM you on Instagram, or something that you can put on the page, or they shoot a video for you, or it's in written format and they give you a photo. You have to get their permission, of course, but you want to have testimonials, because that's what's going to get people off the ledge, right? If they look at this course and nobody's bought it and there's no results, they're probably not going to buy it unless they know you and they trust you, right? So you need to make sure that you're getting as many testimonials as possible. And just think about anybody that you've helped, ask them for one. Even if they haven't paid you, ask them for one. Hey, I helped you do this thing. Would you mind, putting a testimonial together, and I'm going to use it on my landing pages so your name will be out there, and just get their permission. Okay. Very simple thing to ask for. And then get in the habit of that. If you're building an online business, a coaching business, get in the habit of grabbing testimonials, even if it's not the final end result, like just steps along the way. Like, hey, I had this shift, I had this transformation. If you have a 10-step process and somebody's at step number one, they've completed step 1, 2, or 3, get a testimonial on that, right? Showing progress. And then obviously when you get somebody that gets the full result, that's huge. And you want to grab that testimonial in a video format and put that on your website. Okay, now the offer phase is over with. Like, you've got your offer dialed in. I'm going to give you a really good resource to read about how to write offers. And that's the book by Alex Hormozi, $100 Million Offers. If you have not read that book, I highly recommend it. Again, there will be a link in the show notes to all these resources. So grab that. That's going to teach you how to write an offer. That's how I learned how to do it. Now we're at the launch phase. Okay. So we're going to put the course together and start selling it and start promoting it, but we're not going to make the course yet. Now, what you should do is make module 1. And if you have 5 lessons, make at least 2 or 3 lessons in the course, right? You could make the entire lesson, the entire module, all the 5. If you have 5 lessons, make them all and have those ready to roll. And here's what you're going to do. Because again, if you have a 20 or a 30 or a 40-hour course, you don't want to do that and nobody buys it. This is a waste of your time. And most courses are done this way on the first go round, the first launch. And this is what we're doing here. This is your very first launch. So we're going to do the launch period. That's going to take about 30 days roughly. And again, you have your landing page together. It's ready to go. You've already filmed some of the content. You've got your pricing dialed in, and pricing is a separate podcast. You're going to have to do some research on that. It just depends on if you were to coach somebody one-to-one to do this, how much would you charge, right? And then what is the result and what is that worth to people? That's going to come from your research phase. Like, hey, if I had this course that taught you this, gave you this result, is it something that you would be interested in? And what would you be willing to pay for it? And give them some options, right? $297, $497, $997, and see who picks what, and then go with the majority. Research is key here. So don't skip that step. So in the launch period, we're going to do a warm up. Okay, so we're going to start telling people about it. Use social media. If you have an Instagram account, this is a great way to do it because you can use your Instagram stories to kind of tell people about the course, right? Tell them that it's out there. Get them on the wait list. You can create a wait list page. Hey, this thing is coming. You can use countdown timers. That's all in Instagram. If you use Kajabi, that they have countdown timers that you can put on your landing page. A lot of you who have purchased my course have probably seen that. You've seen that there's a countdown timer on there. It's like, hey, this thing is coming in 10 days, 15 days, or whatever it is. So I would suggest the 10-day warm-up period where you're just kind of creating buzz, sharing your story on your Instagram account, in your stories, like, hey, this is the transformation that I have, right? And like for me, I shared I was in a 9-to-5 job for 25 years, 17 years with the same company. I was able to break out. I started my own business, and this is what my life looks like now. And here's how I did it. And you just kind of create that buzz, if you will. The next phase is what's referred to as your pre-sale period or your early bird period. And that can be anywhere from 48 to 72 hours, where you are offering the course at the best possible price that you can. All right. And it'll only be at this price for this period. So there's a little bit of a scarcity situation there. And you're not being dishonest either. This is the best price you're going to get. And then what bonuses are you going to offer in this as well, right? Are you going to have some one-to-one coaching calls included in this? Are you going to have a mastermind? Like for my early bird period, for my pre-sell period, the 72-hour window, you got the VIP package, which was you got 3 one-to-one calls with me for 1 hour. You got the course, you got access to the mastermind, W2 Prison Break Nation. I gave away some other bonuses, some digital products that I have that comes with that. So think about bonuses that you can give to people that just kind of make it a no-brainer for them to get it. The one-to-one calls are great because they can take the course, but having access to you on a one-to-one basis is going to be crucial for them to kind of help them guide them through the course and answer any questions. And then if you have a group, a community, you don't have to have a paid mastermind. You could have a private Facebook community, and you're in there answering questions and people are supporting each other. So think about what your bonuses are. And that pre-sale period, like you're hitting your email list, you're hitting your Instagram account, your social media. And if you don't have an email list, which some of you are saying probably right now, well, I don't have an email list. I'm in a W2 job. You do. And go to episode number 140. I'll leave that link in the show notes. You can listen to that episode on how you can develop your email list because it's all in your phone. I did a whole podcast on how to create your email list. You don't have to have a business to have a list. So you're hitting your email list, telling them about the course. You're talking about it on social media, the early bird. You're making sales, right? You're making sales at this point, and now you have proof of concept, and then you start dripping out the course, right? Like you could tell people during the pre-sale period who buy, the course will be ready on this date, and you'll get 1 module per week, every week after that. This gives you time to make some sales, sell the course, and then make the modules one at a time so that you don't have to spend all this time creating the content. All right, then you're going to have your official launch period where it's open. I mean, the pre-sale is open to everybody, but now it's open. Now the price goes up. Let's just say your course is $1,000, or you're pricing at $997. But during the pre-sale period, the early bird, you were selling it for $497, 50% off, right? But normally it's $997. During the official launch, you're going to raise the price. So instead of $497, it might be $597 or $697. They're still getting a discount, but again, for the next like 10 to 15 days, because you want a total 30-day launch period here, the next 10 to 15 days, you're going to be periodically raising the price. Again, countdown timer, like the price will go up to the normal price level of $9.97 at the end of this launch period. And you tell them that. And then you're continuing with the emails and the promotion on social media, testimonials. When people buy the course, you make sure that you take screenshots of that and you have those people DM you either on Facebook or Instagram. You share that with your audience or share it with your email list. If you don't have an Instagram audience, get an Instagram account if you're going to do this, and make sure that you're creating the buzz and sharing people jumping on and congratulating them. Like, you got to be present with this. If you want to make this course profitable and sell it, you got to be present. You got to show up and do the work. You can't just create the course, send out a couple of emails, and people are going to buy it. You got to work for this thing. We talked a little bit about fulfillment. Okay, how you're going to deliver this course. Like, is it just a course and they get no access to you? I don't really like that. I think that you need to give them some access to you. Not everybody, but some access to you. But can somebody take the course and achieve the result, right? If they can't, you're not going to get testimonials, and then you're not going to resell the course. So it has to be awesome. Now, when you put this course together, and again, if you're using Kajabi, you put the platform together, you can always, based on the feedback that you're getting from your clients, the people that purchase the course, because you're going to ask them for feedback. There's literally a comment section inside of Kajabi where people can comment, or in the Facebook group, hey, how about this? Your course didn't cover this. You want the feedback loop so that you can go back in and recreate those lessons, or add to those lessons, or add more resources that you might have missed. The best feedback that you're going to get is always going to be from your clients. So always be looking to tweak this thing. Like, the first time you do it, that's not going to be the course 6 months from now. It's going to look different because you're going to get the feedback and you're going to add to it. Okay, we covered a lot today. This is way more in depth, but I just want you guys to understand that this is not that difficult if you follow the steps. Again, get the summary of this podcast on YouTube and it'll help you list out the steps and take action items. Grab the blueprint if you don't know what business to start, like what course idea you could start. That'll help you. That's pretty much everybody's block, is I don't know what business to start. And then I just want to leave you with, because some of you really get all jammed up. You just think you're not good enough. You don't have any confidence. Like, I can't teach people anything. It's like, you can. You all have something that you know that other people don't know. All of you. For everyone who's listening to this show, if there's 500 people or 1,000 people listening to this show, I just want you to think about this. Every single person who listens to this podcast episode knows something that I don't know, and vice versa. So think about that. My blueprint's going to help you with that, with your skills and your knowledge. But what are people asking you to help them with? Like, this is just something I talk about all the time. Look for the signs, pay attention to the signals. You have value, and people tell you what your value is because they say, hey, you're good at this. Can you help me with this? You know stuff that other people don't, and you can help them achieve a result. Think about any type of transformation that you've made in your life. You got from point A, which was a place that didn't look good for you, you were challenged, and you got to Z, right? Which was your ideal outcome or close to your ideal outcome. Everything in between that, all the letters in between that, are your roadblocks, your lessons, everything that you can teach people. Though that's your skill set, that's your knowledge. And trust me, there are plenty of people at point A, and you don't need millions of people to do this. Okay. You just need a handful, and a handful could be 100 or 500 or 1,000. Just think in those terms. You can't save if you have a transformation that you went through, I can promise you in any niche, there's 100 people that went through it. And if you have a $1,000 course, do the math on that. Last time I checked, that was $100,000. Okay. So think in that realm. And even if you charge $500, that's still 50 grand. I think most people listening to this podcast episode, if they sold a course and got $50,000 the first go round, or within the first 6 months, you'd be pretty happy. That would be life-changing money. And it doesn't end there. Okay. I hope that this episode serves you. I always appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know feedback. Okay. I don't ask really for ratings and reviews very often, but if you thought that this episode was helpful and inspires you to take action, I just want you to take a couple of minutes and leave a rating and review on either Apple or Spotify. And it would be really, really awesome if you did that. I would appreciate it big time. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Make it an excellent day and go make your course. You're capable. You can do it.